1 and then 2 on the.
All right.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Welcome
Throwing
on.
Hammers
Throwing
podcast.
Hammers, I think this is the second official one, isn't it? Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, no, this will be good. Fucking biggest card of the year, man. UFC 280, obviously.
Huge.
Obviously, everyone knows if you're a fan of UFC,
Gang's all
UFC 280. Gang is all here.
Talk
good.
closer to the microphone.
Okay, thanks. Sorry about that. But yeah, obviously, if you're a UFC fan, UFC 280, biggest card of the year. Not even arguably, I would say.
Yeah, crazy stuff. I mean, it was highly anticipated, and it. I don't know.
Did it deliver? Maybe we can talk about that.
Not every outcome was what I wanted to see, but
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we can start. I mean, we talked before. We wanted to start with the Belal Muhammad fight just because, whatever. That was probably the main event of the prelims. And Belal, he fucking. Let's say first, this is his first fight in Khabib's camp, correct?
Yep. Yeah, first fight in Khabib's camp. But yeah, we didn't know. I mean, Bilal's been beating pretty much everybody since he got eye poked by Leon Edwards.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, we didn't know. Like I said in my preview, we didn't know what was going to happen in this fight. I mean, Sean Brady's undefeated.
Yeah.
Hasn't fought in a year. Comes back and But I mean, Belal. They were like the fight started. It was back and forth, and I thought Brady was getting the better of it in the beginning for sure.
Well, Brady's undefeated coming into this too.
Yeah.
So.
And I thought,
No joke.
I thought Belal was going to be in trouble. I'm a big Belal fan, so I thought,
Right.
He might be in trouble, but I don't know. I just thought, I didn't think Belal had those hands in him to take it to Brady like that.
It was really impressive. Yeah.
And stop the fight. I mean, it was, Brady took like 15 punches to the face before they stopped it.
Yeah, it was like 15
Seemed
unanswered
like,
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I heard someone make a really good point today. I don't know what I was listening to, just something. And they said Belal gets a lot of hate, whatever, for being a relatively boring fighter. But he goes in there and makes the other fighter do what they're bad at and what he's good at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what he does. That's why he wins. You know what I mean? He goes in there and makes the other fighter fight his fight, And I mean, that wasn't exactly the story with this one because I feel like he kind of shocked Brady with the hands. I don't know. I mean, maybe Brady thought he was going to be able to stand up with him or whatever. I don't know. We never seen that out of Belal. That might help him in his case of being a little more exciting. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't buy into the exciting or not. It's whether you win. That's just. I mean, I get that the UFC wants exciting and the exciting fighters, and I 100% love the exciting guys too. Like Gaethje and Chandler are two of my favorites, but you can't deny a guy that just wins.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean?
No, true. Yeah. I mean, like, unfortunately, it's part of the kind of gig now as a fighter. You have to promote yourself and whatever. That's half of the reason why, or that is the reason why Sean O'Malley got to fight. You know what I mean? Obviously, he's good. We can get to that and whatever, and he deserves to be there. Clearly proved that.
promotes himself like no other.
Promotes himself, and people want to see him. The fans, the UFC knows the fans want to see him in the octagon in these big fights. So they're more likely to give it to him because it's going to sell tickets and make the UFC money.
Yeah, I mean, there's two sides of the story though. Khabib was not an exciting fighter
Correct.
by any means,
Built a legacy though.
but
Went 29-0.
undefeated and arguably the best fighter ever. So,
Yeah. I mean, that is the argument because Khabib, there's another argument that he didn't even fight, like he didn't have as many big time pay-per-view fights. Like he had probably, if he was 29-0, he might have had 20 fights that were not against big name guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously he fought Conor, he fought all the top dogs that are around. But not throughout his career, to be honest. So that's another thing. I mean, that's another. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
There's a
Khabib
funny tweet
definitely.
that I saw that some guy was like, Khabib is even scarier now as a coach than a fighter.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, that's crazy.
Making another one.
Right, exactly what he did. What he did with obviously Makhachev had Khabib's dad training him and everything like that. But what he did with Bilal first camp at Khabib's place or whatever, or with Khabib in his corner, and he totally demolished an undefeated Sean Brady. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I just feel like guys like Bilal and we'll get to Dariush too, but I think they're just, those guys have just been winning, and what are they getting for it? I mean, Bilal's been winning, and here's Sean Brady. Yeah, he's undefeated, but he's not even in the top 10.
Right. No, it's a very good point.
You got to fight this guy? Fuck that. I mean, that just doesn't make sense.
It's a very good point. Yeah, I mean, I think Bilal advocates for himself a little more than like Dariush, for example. But still, like you said,
there's just two guys that are just really good fighters that I feel like should be getting better fights.
Yeah, exactly. They're not losing.
Gamrot's a good fighter too, but I'm just saying Dariush should be fighting. They should get their shots.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. I think Bilal should be fighting Colby next. I mean, I don't know. It's like,
that'd be a
why
good
not?
fight.
That'd be sweet.
Why not?
Be sweet. Yeah. I think that's a great matchup too because I don't know. I think they would have a good battle.
Dana White was talking about, I saw in the post-fight press conference that, it's going to be Colby and maybe they're trying to set up Colby and Khamzat, but.
Yeah. I mean, that's obviously the big money fight probably for the UFC. They're kind of on this kick of putting together these super fights and super cards and, they're probably going to want to put Khamzat and Colby either as a co-main on something huge or as, I don't know, maybe it's definitely a main event.
I like the super cards.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, I was shaking.
This was the best card I've ever watched.
Yeah.
Yeah, we deserved it after two really shitty fight nights.
For sure. I mean, well, right. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, to put us through that was...
And it's been rough even before that, I'm not even going to lie. Like, it's like, there's been, obviously, bigger pay-per-views and stuff.
There's been some sleepers for sure.
Yeah, there's been some that have
I think this one I haven't been as excited for a pay-per-view since the one they let off with Gaethje and Chandler.
Yeah.
I mean, that was sweet. That was like the craziest move ever to lead off the pay-per-view with those guys.
Right. Exactly.
And that was delivered,
was nuts.
obviously. But
that's one of my favorite fights of all time.
Yeah, I was never as nervous during that fight as I was. I don't even know why I was nervous. I was nervous because I knew what was going to happen. Like I knew these guys were going to throw hammers. Thought for sure somebody was just going to get knocked the hell out.
Yeah. I was going to say maybe we're jumping ahead of ourselves a little, but the most nervous I've ever been for a fight was the Sean O'Malley fight.
Yeah.
And I'll explain it a little bit when we get there, but this was definitely, that's why you watch UFC though. These are the moments that we live for as a UFC fan. You know what I mean? These crazy, absolute nuts cards where the top 3 fights you can't even believe are back to back to back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's exciting seeing a guy, like O'Malley or whoever else coming up and winning. It's like Paddy Pimblett. You're watching him now, keep, beating lower level guys or whatever, but eventually he's going to be, they're going to throw him to the dogs too.
Exactly.
Eventually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
he's probably got a couple more fights, maybe I don't know how many fights he has on his contracts or anything like that either, but you're totally right.
I mean,
they're going to put him on the same track.
2-3 more fights, he's going to be okay. Let's really see what you got.
Right. Yeah, they're putting him on the same track for sure. We were kind of moving on to the main card. It seemed like.
I mean, that's all I got on Bilal and Brady. I mean, it was a great fight, I thought.
Yeah. And we got to see them get their shots.
Entertaining, whatever, but it was. I just feel bad for Bilal, I guess.
Yeah.
But I just think he gets overlooked every time.
Yeah.
And hopefully he gets a shot. Hopefully he gets to fight somebody good.
Yeah, you would think too. I don't know. He's kind of on the commentary for the UFC, he does that analyst side gig type thing. So hopefully they'll be partial to their double employee. I don't know. He's doing extra shit for the UFC. You know what I mean? Hopefully they'll finally give him some kickback.
Yeah, UFC is even better than the NFL at getting guys to commentate.
Yeah,
even better. And the NFL does a great job.
Right. Yeah. What I like about the UFC is they have current guys. You know what I mean? They have Anthony Smith, who's probably might have another fight announced soon or something, but he's still doing commentary, or Bilal, or I know Paul Felder's not really fighting anymore, but he was doing live commentary kind of when he was in and out of the UFC.
Well, he was, and Dominic Cruz too.
Right, exactly.
So.
When's the first in-fight commentator going to come?
Yeah, exactly.
And he throws a right hook, I dodge it.
Or a UFC hot mic. Yeah. Exactly.
First guy ever to get mic'd up, Kevin Holland. It's got to be.
It's got to be, right?
Well, actually, you don't even need to mic him up because he's loud enough.
He's loud enough. Put him in the apex and we'll hear him. Yeah, exactly. Okay, moving on maybe to the main event or main card at least. Chookagian was first. This fight was kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, boring. I think a lot of people just went and made some food or got some beer during that fight because, you know, I watched it, but I just all the time. But yeah, she fights all the time, and all the time. To be honest, she wasn't even that good. And you know that fight, I did watch it. I thought it could have went either way. Like I bet on Ferio. What's her name? Ferio.
Yeah, she's French. It's I don't know, Fiorot.
Yeah, I mean, I had a parlay that I had her on it, so I was kind of interested in seeing that.
Yeah.
Seeing that through, and she ended up winning. But
there you go.
But I thought it could have won either way. I don't know. I mean, it was hard to tell, but it seemed like, you know, Chookagian just wasn't doing enough. Wasn't doing enough.
Yeah, sure. A little bit complacent, maybe. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't really have anything great to say or great to touch on this one. I don't know about you guys, but
nah, not really.
All right. With that said, moving on. This is where things got a little nuts, I would say. Beneil Dariush versus Gamrot. Obviously, I don't know. These guys are relatively big name guys, but a casual UFC fan who only watches the one pay-per-view a month might not know everything about these guys. So.
I mean, I thought looking at the card, I mean, this fight I thought could have been easily fight of the night, you know, and it was a great fight, I thought, but not, you know, it wasn't fight of the night. It didn't, you know, it wasn't, you know, something crazy like I thought it was going to be, but still amazing.
There's a lot of great moments in that fight, though.
Yeah, it was.
I'll tell you.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't get over how good Dariush is, really, because I thought Gamrot was going to give him a lot of problems.
Yeah.
And I just didn't see it. I didn't see many times where I thought, oh, shit, Dariush is in trouble.
Right.
Like I didn't think I saw one, maybe. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So. He just looked, I don't know. He looked like every punch he landed looked like it hurt Gamrot a little bit. You know what I mean? Like even like there was one specific punch. Maybe I can even throw up the clip where like Gamrot's coming in, Dariush just hits him with like an overhand right, and it just blows him back. And he like rolled back. He got right up. So maybe that didn't specifically hurt him, but he just like looked way stronger than him, in my opinion. And yeah, he looked really fucking good.
Yeah, even on the ground, it was great. I mean, they had some ground time, and I thought Gamrot was going to have the advantage really on the ground, but it didn't seem like he had any advantage on the ground.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Dariush defended the takedowns really well. Gamrot was only 4 for 19 on takedown attempts.
Oh, yeah?
So, stopping 15 of them is
I was going to say 15,
pretty good.
15 stuffed takedowns is not easy. Especially
almost outstruck him double.
Yeah. Like you said, just kind of seemed like the bigger guy in there, seemed stronger, seemed to dictate what was going on.
I mean, he looks like a bigger guy. Like, I mean,
like fucking, I don't know, dude. Yeah. Bigger than Gamrot for
Doesn't look like a lightweight.
No. Yeah. And that another guy who needs to get a shot, right? I mean, God, he's 22-4.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's same with Bilal. What are they going to do with him now? You know.
Right. Well, the good thing is for people like us who want to see these guys get these fights, those divisions or whatever, some of these divisions in the UFC are kind of at like a stalemate right now. Like, okay, nobody can beat Volk. Like, we thought nobody was going to beat Oliveira. I don't know.
Yeah, we thought nobody was going to beat Usman either.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So maybe I'm fucking wrong. I don't know. But I'm just saying, I don't know. Who's the champ of the lightweight? Makhachev, obviously. So I don't know. Maybe Dariush Makhachev is a great fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, why not Dariush and Oliveira? Whatever. I mean,
yeah.
Give him a top 2 guy, you know.
Right. I'll tell you, Oliveira's next fight is going to be interesting.
Yeah. That's so weird to think about.
I know. And you know what is so weird?
Like Dariush Oliveira, like it makes sense, but it just is so weird to hear out loud.
Yeah, right. And Oliveira, like, he's just not the champ.
Seeing the one next to his name.
This fight, he was already not the champ. That's crazy.
He wasn't the champ.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, I just kind of assumed. Like, I'm serious. And I will own this. I was telling people to bet Oliveira. I go, dude, he's the underdog. It makes no sense. I go, there's no way.
Yeah, I did too.
There's no way.
I thought he was going to win for sure.
I tweeted on the main. I was like, I personally can't see myself betting $1 on Islam. I was like, Oliveira is him. And then I tweeted out after a quote of that, Hey, big dog, delete this.
Yeah.
It's not it.
It's not
Yeah, as
it.
soon as that fight started, I was like, I don't know what's gonna like. I was like,
You know,
Makhachev looks
Makhachev-
amazing.
tagging him, he just, I don't know. We'll get to that. Like,
Yeah, getting ahead of ourselves.
But
getting
I don't
ahead
know,
of
dude.
ourselves.
I was, like I said, I'll own that, and I was so wrong. So
Yeah, but moving forward, I mean, there's a lot of guys in that division.
for
A lot of
Dariush,
good
Lightweight
guys.
is just stacked.
yeah.
I mean, Gaethje,
take a look.
there's just so many names that Poirier, Chandler. I'm just saying,
Yeah, right.
they're scheduled to fight, but
Dariush is the 3rd ranked fighter in the lightweight division.
yeah,
Might be time. Oliveira is number 2. Wait, hold on. This is not official. This is that. I thought that was the UFC website. It's some other website. I'll let you know in a second. But yeah, Dariush definitely deserves a shot. I mean, he hasn't sniffed a title shot in his whole career, correct? Question mark. Dariush is 6, but they haven't updated it. So Dariush, yeah, we'll see when they update the rankings. This is his division. He's ranked 6. They have Oliveira as 1, and the title's still vacant. So
yeah. But look at those guys. I mean, you already got Poirier and Chandler fighting.
right.
Gaethje doesn't have a fight yet. I mean,
Gamrot just lost. He's going to be out of the top 10. Or maybe it'll be 10 or something. Maybe it might stay
yeah, I
there.
don't know.
What about... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, fuck. I don't know. I don't know then, seriously. Because if he's 6, Chandler and Gaethje are 5 and 3. Makhachev's 4. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't buy into I don't know, whatever. I don't really buy into the whole Volkanovski Makhachev. I like to see it, but I hate that they're, then what's going to happen to Dariush? He's not going to get a shot ever, or he's going to fight the winner of that,
He might fight with the winner of that. I don't know. What about Volkanovski Oliveira? Just as throwing that out there. I know he's a champ, but
Yeah, I
That
think
would be kind of weird, like-
if he's moving into that division, then I'd like to see him fight any of those
I think
guys.
Volk with
to be
Dariush
honest.
would be the craziest matchup ever, just because of
Yeah.
the size difference.
oh yeah,
Like Volk is Dariush is a big lightweight,
yeah,
and Volk
Yeah.
is just so small.
so small.
Yeah,
and he's
Yeah.
coming up to fight Islam,
Right.
Right. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. So this is half the fun of watching the UFC though is speculating on what
Yeah,
what
see
the
what's
next
gonna
fight
happen
is.
next. Yep.
Every UFC event or every big pay per view like this leaves you with all these different options now because the whole board gets shuffled, which is pretty cool. It's my favorite part anyway. Anything else on Dariush Gamrot?
No, not really. I mean, where's Gamrot go from here? I mean, he's definitely, I think he's got a little bit of work to do, but I mean, he's, he'll get some good fights for sure.
Yeah, he's 21 and 2. He's I don't know. We were really hype on him. I think a lot of people kind of expected him maybe to lose this fight, but I don't know. I thought he was going to be good.
I don't know. I picked him.
He's from Poland. Gotta like it.
Polish power. I picked him.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I was just gonna say nothing else really on Dariush and Gamrot, other than we're mad about Dariush and Bilal not getting their shot, or I am at least.
I think I don't know. I think it has to happen. They're becoming undeniable to the UFC. You know what I mean? For sure.
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
to,
it's gotta happen eventually.
yeah.
If they keep winning, especially if they fight again and they win again.
Right.
Jeez,
I mean, yeah, right now they're kind of building themselves into like a gatekeeper spot where you got to fight this guy to get into the top 10
for
or
sure.
sort of the top 5 or something like that,
yeah, for sure,
So I don't know.
definitely.
All right. Moving on, maybe, if you guys are good
Sure,
with that,
yeah.
to the
Moving on. Moving on up.
people's main event, maybe, per se. I don't know. No,
I mean that's a fair
Yeah.
statement.
yeah. Fuck. This,
Sugar Sean versus Peter Yan.
Yeah. This, I alluded to it before, but it's the most nervous I've ever been for a UFC fight. I don't know what you guys'
I was
initial
definitely.
thoughts were.
This was the most excited I've been for a Sean O'Malley fight. 100%.
Oh yeah, yeah.
100%.
By far biggest fight of his career.
Talked about it the most.
Yeah.
Other than the title shot. That's
Yeah,
coming,
exactly.
but
He's been calling out Peter Yan.
spelling his name wrong.
Yeah,
That's
Call-
what 3 years ago.
Peter. All he says is Peter for fucking 2-3 years, like you said. Finally got the shot. And yeah, let's fucking talk about it.
A lot of controversy around this
I was
one.
gonna say, yeah. So this is we can talk about maybe the first round because that is really the round up for debate. I would say Jan took the second. That's what most people had. That's what the judges had on all their scorecards. And O'Malley did most of the damage in the third round. As far as significant strikes goes, and like I said, damage dealt.
Yeah, and what's super funny, not funny, but it's just crazy. When I watched the fight and the fight was over, I had no thought that O'Malley won. I never thought he won.
I really didn't either. I'm not gonna say.
And I don't think he thought he won either.
I had a tweet typed up that read, "If the fight goes 5 rounds, O'Malley wins TKO 4th round."
Yeah,
and it was just because I felt like he was in the second round is when he landed that combo that kind of like wobbled him a little bit early in the second round.
Yeah.
And I was like, just thinking closer to the end of the third, I was like, man, one more round, then he sleeps him. Like, just one more.
He was really tagging him up.
I was about to hit send.
Yeah.
They said Sugar Sean O'Malley, and I was like, all right, delete. He won.
New tweet.
New tweet. Congrats, Sean O'Malley. Never doubted you for a second, buddy. But no, it was not the case.
Well, I was going to say the reason why I was the most nervous for this fight ever is because the whole time leading up to it, I was kind of thinking this is a win-win for Sean O'Malley. He got the fight. He got the fight he's been asking for. No matter what happens, he goes out there with a win, or he leaves the octagon with a win. That's what I was saying up until the fight, right? Because I was whatever. And then, or leading up to it, I realized, okay, like Sean's walking out first, like it's happening right now. And I'm like, oh my God, what if he goes out there and just gets slapped in the middle of the octagon, like 30 seconds in, like Ben Askren, like, dude, it's over. So, like, if that happens, it's over.
Yeah, the train stops, derailed.
I mean, it's not like his career's over by any means.
No, but the hype train would be like
he's going to have to build it back up at that point to really be in any sort of contention for a title, which is what he's saying he wants to do.
Yeah, he loses this fight, he's fighting somebody that's like...
Right. If he gets
a waste of his time. Yeah.
Right. He's fighting someone maybe ranked, maybe not, in my opinion. I don't know. He's fighting someone low, for sure.
Yeah, you're right. And there's two ways it could have gone. Well, there's 3 ways it could have gone. Could have gone that way where he doesn't show anything.
Yeah.
And he gets dominated by one of the best fighters in the UFC.
Right.
Or he goes out and shows what he can do, still loses the fight, but looks good.
Yeah.
Or he goes and wins the fight.
Yeah. Right.
And I think it was somewhere in between those last two. It's like he went out, looked great. A lot of people thought he lost, but end up winning.
The problem is the whole control time thing too, because if you watch that fight, also, I think that one thing that we haven't touched on, like just talking like about the fight amongst each other before, that I was thinking about was, with all due respect to the people who like Sean O'Malley, because it's us.
Yeah, right.
Think about the general people who like Sean O'Malley. It's people that don't really like UFC that much. They probably aren't that tapped in. They're watching just Sean's fight. Might even have turned it off after. They didn't even care about Oliveira Makhachev, which was arguably a much larger fight.
Exactly.
But the thing is then you watch like people go on and say stuff about, I don't know, like Jan dominating him, control time, this, that, and the next, and it just ends up being like, well, where did it get him?
Right. Right.
And that people are attacking these like Sean O'Malley fans, because then the Sean O'Malley fans go on and they're like, Sean O'Malley wins, gets knocked out, and it's almost like fueling this fire, if that makes sense, to make people like say how much more controversial it is. I don't know if I'm explaining that well.
I definitely.
But it's like uneducated MMA fans are like we love Sean O'Malley, and what did we say? I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I don't know. But then there's people who are like we know people who love Sean O'Malley who are like, beat the shit out of him, no question, man. Slumped his ass, and it's like,
yeah. Well, right.
He controlled 2 seconds of the fight.
Exactly. The overwhelming support for Sean O'Malley has a lot of fans, like you said, that are not UFC fans. They're Sean O'Malley fans.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And
so they watch
their
the fight.
UFC insight is not great.
Right. Exactly. So it fuels the fire, and maybe it sways the view of actual UFC fans who say, these fucking idiots, he didn't fucking win, and they now their view's swayed too.
Exactly.
You
can't
look
at
it
as what I'm trying to get at.
But yeah, not a non-biased view.
But as like a UFC fan, it's like you watch Peter Yan, who's like one of the best dirty boxer, getting close. Like I thought he was going to piece him up close and not let Sean O'Malley use any reach or anything like that. But he made him almost result to like panic wrestling. I like saw that on Twitter, but it's super true. Like he was just like going for takedown after takedown, trying to control him on his back, but it's like that he was doing absolutely no damage really to Sean.
Well, in the
was
third round for sure he did that.
Yeah.
He was getting hit, and then he just started to, started taking dives from trying to take him down, whatever.
Right.
But
I mean, dude.
yeah, you're right. Some of those people might be the judges that don't know what they're doing. I mean, these
Right.
judges are
No,
just
I know.
not, that's
I
always
know.
the controversy, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Well, it
it's
doesn't help
always
the case either.
we never know what the judges are thinking. We never know what they, some people might value the control time on the ground, but
Right.
the control time didn't really lead to anything. It was more like, okay, yeah, he held him down, whatever, but what did he do? He didn't really, there's no damage
He's
that
not
I
holding
saw.
them down and ground pound
there was
elbows
not-
or nothing like
there
that,
was
you know.
A little, but nothing significant.
Nothing splitting his face open and,
Yeah,
whatever.
I mean, if there was some of that, or some great submission attempts, which
Right. There wasn't really.
sort of was, but not really, but it was fended off
The thing is,
pretty
Sean's so much
well.
bigger, longer. I feel like it's gonna
Yeah.
be hard for Jan.
and
to
trains a
really
lot of
submit him.
jiu-jitsu,
Yeah.
competes in a lot of jiu-jitsu tournaments where
Yeah.
like I feel like that's probably his ideal build of somebody to go against
Yeah.
is like a shorter, stockier dude.
I heard, yeah, exactly. I heard Rogan say something that's super commendable about O'Malley too. Is like you would think he's like a specialty striker guy, but he learned all this shit at once. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? He learned jujitsu. He's doing all crazy jujitsu. He's doing all crazy. He's doing everything at once. You know what I mean? He's not like a specialist in any sort of category. So like you said, he's really good at that's what's playing in his favor is he's really good at jujitsu, but he's also really good at keeping distance and striking and things like that.
He's probably like the best new gen fighter in the sense of like the fighters who grew up watching the legends fight.
Yeah.
And then kind of like said like, yeah, this is what I'm gonna do now, and then started
Right.
fighting. Like there's like hella guys in the UFC
Yeah.
who are like, yeah, I watched like Paddy Pimblett, for example, just talked about on a sneaker shopping thing. He was like, yeah, I watched this fight on this day, went outside and went for a run afterwards, and was
Yeah.
training within 3 weeks. And it's
Right.
like Sean
Yeah.
O'Malley talks about sparring his buddies in his basement and
Yeah.
taking like doing all these crazy MMA things,
Exactly.
and it's like I don't know, same type of thing.
Exactly.
But-
Yeah. No, I couldn't I don't know. Like just going back to how nervous I was, like I said, it all kind of hit me right before the fight. It's like it could really be bad for him or whatever. But I couldn't be happier that he stood in there and was able to take a flush, clean punch to the jaw.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was the one mistake he made. He got too close in that. Like he just stood there for a second, too close, and Jan grabbed him and
right.
just smacked him in the face.
I
mean, it was,
rewatched-
like,
right.
crazy. Yeah.
What about the trip for trip? Or well, I mean, Jan tripped O'Malley, and then O'Malley
Yeah.
went for the same outside leg trip
Yeah.
on Jan, but Jan was kind of like, "Come on, man, that's my move. You can't just do that to me." It's like, I literally just
Right.
did it.
That's like
he
his
should have spaced
signature
it out a
move,
little
yeah,
bit.
yeah, exactly. Like hit him within the third
It was kind of
round or
funny
something.
though.
Yeah.
It was like very Sean O'Malley to go for it back
Oh,
to back
exactly.
at that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
No, I totally
very
agree.
Sean O'Malley.
No, I just was gonna say that one thing that I noticed too, that as soon as the fight started, I just don't think O'Malley looked like himself.
Right.
Like I thought he was super nervous.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what I take away from the first round. And for the whole fight, in my opinion, he didn't have the same quirky, crazy movements that he had in the other fights, and like
Right.
he just didn't have, like, he was fighting more conventional style.
Far more
Not
conservative.
no,
Yeah.
not a lot of feints, not a
But
lot
hey,
of everything else that he
That's where
always
he has the
does.
advantage with the speed.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
And hey, he did that. That is a good point. Is he looked pretty uncomfortable? Like not pretty uncomfortable, but like he didn't have room to do all of his, different tactics.
I just
like he
think it
usually
was
does
in
against
his
these
head
lower level
too. He
guys.
knew this was a big moment, and he knew.
Yeah.
It's just like anything. You get nervous about something, you kind of go away from your usual way
Yeah.
of doing things, and that's just the what I took away from the first round, at least. Anyway, I was like, he does not look like he did in the other fights.
Right.
Just his
But-
movements, just his
No,
like
100%. I
quirky,
agree. I agree.
whatever,
And it shows that he was still able to kind of tag Jan up.
I think he got more
without-
comfortable after the first round, even though
Right.
he lost the second round. But at least he knew it. I think in his head he knew, like, okay, I'm comfortable. And in
Yeah.
the third round, like we were saying, it's like you got to just go. You got to like it's like all or nothing. Like I thought after the first two rounds, like, you're gonna lose anyway. You got to go for the knockout.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Start
You
the-
got to just start throwing, and if you get knocked out, you get knocked out.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I
mean, I always commend a fighter when we're watching and we're yelling, just hit him, go, go, go. And they actually do it. You know what I mean? Because, like, that is the end of the fight. he's bloodied up. He had taken 3 really good punches, you know what I mean? And others too, you know, I don't know. It's really commendable.
I didn't think, just from watching the fight, like, I don't think I saw Sean O'Malley, and this is back to, like, you guys saying you didn't see enough, like, the quirky Sean O'Malley classic type stuff. I didn't see nearly enough, like, high leg kicks, like, any, like, headshot leg kicks, like, any spinning leg kick, like that flying knee or, like, kind of knee. Like, but it wasn't, like, the volume that I feel like we're used to, and, like, that's also, like, a huge thing for him, and they do a lot of damage, and
part of his game plan to keep
I was
the other
gonna
guy
say,
on his toes.
it was almost like watching a completely different fight style.
I think that
plan.
cut was by a knee.
That's how the cut came, was from that. And that's the
so
thing.
it
is,
shows
like,
him. You got to go back to
more of those knees, more, like, maybe not the knee, but just more unconventional striking.
Yeah, creative.
Spinning around, throwing a back fist, like stuff like that, Sean O'Malley stuff.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, it's easier said than done when I say, oh, you got to go do it in the third round, or why not go get knocked out? It's like, I give these guys so much credit because I would never do that. But,
no, I'm like, you do it, or it's going to
But I mean, if you're a fighter and this is your career, it's like you chose it. Go, you know, that's just, you know, to me, it's like if you want to win, you got to go for it. And if you get knocked out, you get knocked out.
Right. I mean, exactly. And yeah, I mean, going back to Sean just kind of like being himself, like even after the fight, like they're like DC's like, what do you think? Did you know? Yeah, exactly. Like he's like, did you know you knew, or did you know you had enough to win or whatever? And like a lot of fighters like Chito Vera would have been like, yeah, motherfucker, I beat his ass, whatever. Sean was like, we
gotta watch the tape back, coach.
I'm gonna have to watch.
I gotta go watch it again.
Yeah, and one thing Sean did say was that he was like, I don't really know, man. He took me to like a place I've never been before, and that's true. Sean had never been rocked like that, dude. Never been rocked and dragged to the ground and tried to be suppressed on the ground. Sean got right up after a bunch of those. Like, I don't know. Yeah. He proved a lot.
Well, he proved a lot, but it's also a great experience for him to know that he could hang with him, and now that everything he's been working on, you know, probably is paid off because he never had to do this in this previous fights. So
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, take a good punch and then, you know, work your way off the ground like 5 or 8 times or whatever he was on the ground.
Exactly.
You know, so
exactly, definitely. Yeah, no, I mean, I can't say enough good things. That was definitely my most anticipated fight of the year of my UFC watching.
That one
career.
didn't disappoint, that's for sure. It was exciting. It was controversial. It was everything that, you know, a UFC fight should be. So
yeah, very competitive.
Kudos to them for putting that together because it could have fell right in their face too.
Definitely.
I mean, it could have been Jan mops them, and then you're like, why the hell did they even make that fight?
Yeah, and then Then there's a lot of Sean O'Malley.
Could have been a Hamzat, Kevin Holland situation.
Yeah, but hey,
could have been that.
Sean O'Malley's proved that he deserves to be there. Yeah, exactly, deserves to be there for sure. I mean, hey, I don't have much else on Sean O'Malley, Peter Yan. I don't know about you guys.
That was good. We had a lot of back and forth bantering on Instagram and Twitter and all that. You know,
the one was so funny that I saw you tweeting that, where it was like the girl tweeted some comment about the fight, and you were like, your whole comment section doesn't even agree with you. Like, legitimately every single one of the comments back was like, no, you're wrong. Sorry,
like, not
you're
everybody
wrong.
feels like you do. I'm like, I read all the comments. I'm like, there's like 10 comments that feel like I do.
She had a hot take about something, and you just shut it down.
Yeah, it was weird.
That's funny. That's
all right. It's all in good fun, but
yeah,
it's, you know, a lot of people have their opinions either way on that fight. That's for sure.
Definitely. There's a lot to talk about. Like I said, it seems like every big UFC pay-per-view event, the board gets shuffled, and it gives us great shit to talk about, to do, you know, pod on. It's great. Couldn't be, like you said, this is probably one of the better outcomes that could have happened for Sean too. You know what I mean? A win.
Yeah, I was
controversial or not is a win, and he's gonna fight someone in the top 5 at least for sure.
I was just mentally exhausted after this card.
Yeah, right.
Just processing everything and thinking about, you know, thinking about all these fights. Really, it's just like I couldn't stop thinking about it. You know,
it's a lot. Then it ends at 5:30 p.m. for us.
Right, it was weird.
And it's like, what are we doing now? Oh, F1 was on.
Usually it's 2
then we did a podcast, so we're just grinding out here, really, in all reality. But yeah, no, exactly. Okay, yeah, no, congrats to Sean O'Malley. Felt like I don't know, yeah. I don't know. I was so nervous. Felt like my friend was fighting. You know what I mean? That's how nervous I was. Like I felt like I don't know that. Like I felt like you were in there, Joe.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Like I was definitely really nervous, but fucking.
That was the craziest Sean O'Malley fight yet, too.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, it was good. So good things to come from him, I'm sure. So let's move on to
Aljo and TJ Dillashaw.
Waste of time.
We could end it right there.
Yeah, Dillashaw wasted everybody's time in the division. It's one thing if your shoulder pops out a week before, and like Jared said, you don't want to blow up the biggest card of the year. But when your shoulder is popping out in April and it pops out 20 more times throughout the duration of your fight camp, you are wasting everyone's time. Thanks for the 30 seconds of bullshit, because it was a waste of time in a co-main event.
I mean,
I'm even more mad because I bet on him.
Yeah, like that's just...
And you didn't fucking know.
Right.
And I was going to say, if he knew enough to even go up to tell the ref, hey, guys, if you see me, my shoulder pop out, let it go. It's fine. Yeah, that they're going to listen
If
to
I
me.
knew that, I would have never bet on him.
Hold on.
You know?
What is that shit?
I thought
that should be illegal.
I thought he had a really good chance, you know.
I think that's illegal. I don't know. Like, that's like fucking with the whole fucking system.
Well,
like,
there's a lot of...
You know what I mean? Like, it's an undisclosed, like, I don't know, you can't really... I don't really think it's illegal, but, like,
and
that's fucked up.
And that's
a lot
the
of people
thing.
bet on
I
him,
watched the post-fight press conference, and there's a lot of, people were asking that question. It's like, well, was there a medical examination? Was there this? Was there that? And that's the thing. We don't know what
we really
medical examinations, and like Dana White was more like, I don't know, I'm taking out of context, but he was like, well, he didn't tell us. It's like, well, what do you mean he didn't tell us? Isn't there any kind? Don't you have to clear a guy to fight?
You would think. That's the thing. We don't really know the process of how things
crazy
get
would it be if
reported.
like high school sports physicals are a little bit more intense?
Yeah, right.
Like checking up with your primary.
I mean, I'm sure it is, and we don't know what we're talking about. But I always go back to the Paulo Costa when they tested him when he was doing his weight cut, and it's like, why was that happening?
It doesn't seem like
that doesn't make any sense. And then Dana White comes out after and says, well, that's never going to happen again. Well, it should have never happened in the first place.
No, it's true. It's true. It doesn't seem like they have very good control over.
They do a lot of great things, believe me. But I'm just saying, it seems like
procedures.
There's a lot of things that are left unanswered or unaddressed. You know what I mean? Those details. It's like, are you kidding me? You're testing a guy when he's doing a weight cut?
Yeah. Or you didn't know that Dillashaw's shoulder is gonna pop out in the first 2 minutes of the fight. Like it legitimately like it was a problem right away too. It wasn't even like
it was
like
instantaneous.
something happened where he got
like
slammed on his shoulder. Yeah. Aljo dragged him to the ground and his shoulder fell out of his fucking socket. Like, it wasn't anything crazy. And did he really think he was gonna win? I mean, come on, dude. Like, I heard the argument. I think Ariel Helwani was really kind of making the argument for TJ, like on TJ's side or whatever. I just didn't agree. I couldn't bring myself to agree, to be honest, because, like, I don't know. His argument was that, is TJ ever going to get another shot at the title if he doesn't fight this fight? And it's like, no, probably not. But, like, you're not going to win anyway, dog.
Yeah, whatever. It's a wait. Yeah, if there wasn't so many other better fights, I would have been pissed. Like, I was pissed at the last pay-per-view because I thought something fishy was going on, and they mixed up all the fights, and the fights were fucking bullshit.
Right, definitely. Definitely.
So that's kind of what I was saying, is that even the last pay-per-view, I thought, you guys owe me some money. If I'm paying $85, whatever, $82.99 with tax for this pay-per-view, I mean, and to see Hamzat throw around Kevin Holland like a rag doll, and I mean, that was completely unacceptable. And that's what I thought when I saw this fight. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, right. And it goes back to the UFC maybe not having the control that they need leading up to the fight, monitoring the fighters. I don't know. Like I said, we don't know. But
yeah, we don't know.
I think Dillashaw outwardly like admitting his fault and even apologizing, which is insinuating that you did something wrong.
Right.
Should be like, how are you not getting some kind of like pay cut in that sense? And like, give it all that. Honestly, just throw the whole purse to Aljo. Like, it's just annoying.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't bet on it, and I'm annoyed. It's just,
I mean,
how you about to do that? I get
hey,
Ariel's point, but
yeah,
it's bullshit point.
Yeah. Let me play devil's advocate. What would you say if he came out and said, I took the fight because I needed the money?
Yeah,
well, that's what I assumed.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably why he did it, but maybe he's doing it because he's selfish too.
How long ago was
Right.
Dillashaw's last fight?
He fought Sandhagen.
Corey Sandhagen in
a fight night,
like April.
main event. It was not.
How
That
long
was a
ago
great
that?
fight though.
It was a great fight.
Yeah.
It was July 24th, 2021.
July.
2021. Though.
So he fought almost 2 years, over a year ago,
Yeah,
and it was a
then
fight night.
His fight before that was a fight night in Brooklyn in 2019 against Henry Cejudo,
So
where he lost.
he hasn't made like a actual event,
like a big
big name
bag.
card.
Yeah.
Probably a year and a half,
I mean,
close to 2
Yeah.
years.
go back to 2019. He fought.
So he
Cejudo.
probably
We
made
go
what?
Back to 2018. He fought Garbrandt. That's it.
How much do you think they paid him to fight Corey Sandhagen? If we know the numbers now, I'd say roughly like 30 to 60.
Yeah, I mean maybe a little more, but I don't know. I don't know like what these payouts are for fight nights. I mean, well, we can look it up probably.
I just think if Patty came out and said the 11,000, I'd say you're getting 3 times more, and like that's a lot. 3 times
Yeah.
more is a lot,
Yeah.
and that's
right.
30, and then 6 times more, 60. How is this guy supposed to live and pay his family off 120 grand
Yeah,
at
exactly.
the extent of what he does?
Now nothing's showing up for.
Yeah. Yeah, big disappointment.
and everything.
I don't know. It's just
Yeah, I don't know. There's, like I said, maybe some stuff we don't know, but it is, whatever. I don't know.
He got an
It's
in-ground
disappointing.
pool like Clark Griswold, and then he realized the bonus wasn't coming.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't
You
know.
got
I
Jelly
mean,
of the
hey,
Month Club.
Yep.
Yeah. Is that a reference from the movie? Jelly of the Month Club?
Yeah, come on, you've
Sorry.
seen it 100 times.
I know.
We watch it every Christmas here.
It's probably the best Christmas movie.
It
of
is.
all.
It is. It's great. It's
we
great.
watch it every time we're putting up our decorations.
The
Anyways,
best.
well, I don't know. I mean,
Traditions.
that's the other thing. So what's next for? Well, who cares what's next for Dillashaw? But
Probably not much.
what's next for
Aljo?
For Aljo? I mean, they're talking
Sean
Cejudo.
O'Malley.
Well, doubtful. But
I thought the Cejudo one would be cool, honestly, because it would just be nice to see Aljo beat the piss out of Cejudo, and
That's the
then
thing,
we
right?
could see Sean O'Malley fight Aljo.
Does Cejudo get a title shot right away, though?
Maybe. His profile pic's pretty cool. It's got 2 belts on his shoulders. So maybe.
I don't know.
That's
yeah.
also like bringing in money and names. Like Cejudo's
For
such
sure.
a big mouth dumbass.
No, yeah, I'm not saying that. I think the UFC would give it to him, but I'm saying
Yeah.
like I don't know.
Would I
if he
want him to?
would- If he
No.
really gets a title shot, his first.
I'm not big on it, but I think they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I think what's gonna happen is you're gonna see O'Malley fight Cheeto. It's gonna be the second. I think that's just what's gonna happen.
I really hope they don't do that, though.
Yeah.
It's like 6 steps back for Sean O'Malley at this point.
In all reality, yeah. I mean,
I don't think so.
Because he beat Jan, and even though Cheeto beat him, it was like such a technicality. And Cheeto's not closer than him to the title shot.
Yeah, I
So
don't
you're
know.
just
I
like
think
making him take
he's-
2 steps
He's
back.
up there now.
I don't know. Yeah, Marlon Vera's ranked 5th, but I don't know.
But Sean O'Malley just beat the number 1 guy.
True. Does that make Sean O'Malley have to be 1?
But when then he has to go and fight number 5 now?
No, I know you're right, but
Like, I'd be pretty pissed. It's like going out and beating world golf rank number 1, and they're like, all right, now go fight number 5 before you can have a chance for the title.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, who does he fight? I mean, I don't know. I think he fights Cheeto Vera, to be honest.
That might be what the UFC does, just because they can sell that. You know who I really want to see him fight? Corey Sandhagen. That would be sweet. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, Sandhagen or Rob Font would be a great fight, too. But
But they're not like it's not. It is a
But-
step back for him. That's the only
I just
thing.
don't
But
think Sandhagen has a title shot. Like a shot at the title at this point
Oh,
in his
no.
career. So that's
No.
like a waste of his time, too.
but like
Sean's going for the title.
yeah, I mean, so the
And
thing
Corey,
is though,
he's
the
past
only
the
way
gatekeeper. Corey would be a gatekeeper for him at
Yeah.
that point if Corey's not going to ever
The
get
only-
the title.
the only way Sean doesn't take a step back though is he fights Aljo.
Yeah.
So
And that's what happens after you beat number 1.
right.
it's true. No,
Like, I
you're
mean, I
right.
hate to be this
Right.
frank and blunt, but
No,
like you beat
you're
number
right.
1, you go to fight the champ. You don't
Yeah.
fight number 5.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, and
No, I
that's
know.
that's kind of what Dana White said was going to happen. The winner was going to fight for the title.
Yeah.
Right. That's yeah. So
So-
there's a lot of
See if he's a man of his
I mean,
word.
or they make him fight Jan again. I mean,
I know. I know. I
close
don't
fight, controversial.
Have we ever had
Let's
back-to-back?
Run it
same
back
thing?
again.
back to back. I
Back-to-back,
don't know.
same guys.
Yeah, I think.
Has that happened before?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
Maybe, but
I don't know. I think that's another plausible option, to be honest. It makes sense in my head at least. But the thing I hate about the immediate rematch, the other thing I hate about saying Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman should fight right away is, okay, Leon, you knocked him out. Now do it again right
Well, I was
away.
gonna say, we
you know
just
what I
said
mean?
that.
Like, I don't know. Okay, Sean, you beat him. Now do it again. Now you got to do it again.
A lot of people didn't think he beat him though.
It's true. That's a good point.
But unfortunately, the judges did.
And it's kind of an anomaly too, that he got to fight the #1 contender.
Yeah,
He was ranked 11. Never happened.
But it's almost 11. Like if they have him go and not fight for the title now, it's like they're going back on their word. Like, yeah, we're just gonna go sell a bunch of fucking pay-per-views by having our big name guy go fight #1, and then he beat him and we rigged it, but he really shouldn't have beat him, so we're gonna have him go fight 5 to prove to you guys he could beat him, or we can stick with our guts and not backpedal on what we did and give him the title shot.
Yeah.
So the UFC is actually pinched then.
So let me ask you a question again.
I'd be so confused if he didn't get the title.
Do you think it's better for his career to get the title shot right now?
I don't know. Because what does his career benefit from going and beating rank 5 after being ranked 1?
It might.
Because at that point, that's like giving Cheeto the shot. You're like, okay, let's fast track Cheeto to try to get to the title. Because what is Cheeto getting from beating O'Malley? The title shot.
Right.
And then if O'Malley gets the title shot from beating Cheeto, I just don't know about having him go in. I just can't make it make sense for Sean. It's not like a win for Sean.
No,
it's a win
I know.
for Cheeto.
There's a lot to this for sure because, the UFC put himself in a little of a pinch now because
you know what I'm trying to say?
If they don't give him the title shot, they're going back on their word.
Yeah.
And there's like,
you're proving all the haters.
But that's not the first time they're going to do that. They've done it countless times.
Yeah, no, you're right.
They allude to something and then something else happens and whatever. There's a lot that goes into it too. But I don't know. My feeling is what's going to happen is going to be Aljo and Cejudo, and O'Malley's going to fight Vera, and the winner of O'Malley and Vera is going to fight for the title.
Yeah. What about?
I'd love to see O'Malley fight Cejudo. That would be amazing.
Dude, could you imagine, especially after that Right. Especially after that backstage, whatever kind of thing. That would be a good matchup. And the thing is, if Sean beats fucking Henry Cejudo, triple C, triple 3 belts, baby.
And then you got, I think Jan's going to fight
belts,
Merab. I think Jan's going to end up fighting Merab. That's what I think is going to happen too.
Yeah. You think Dillashaw is completely out of the picture now?
He's done.
Yeah. Completely out of the picture.
I think he's...
Well, so I think we're going to have a really good idea, too, when the rankings come out on whenever they come out. You know?
Yeah, and a lot of it depends on Cejudo, too. Are they really going to bring him back? Is he really coming back? But I heard Dana White say he's been in USADA testing for 6 months, and he's cleared good to go.
Yeah.
That's the other thing I said about Conor, which I didn't realize today, that he hasn't been tested, and he needs 6 months of testing before he's even considered to be fighting again.
Right. Little side note.
Get right on that guy and test him. That's what I have to say. He looks like he's a light heavyweight right now.
Yeah. Conor looks like 205 and fucking...
I don't know.
I know. Ripped. One side note, just as I'm looking at this, he's ranked 14 right now, but Adrian Yanez, he is going to be really good. I just saw his name. I kind of forgot about him. He fought recently, had a great knockout, I believe.
Yeah.
But Adrian Yanez, in the next couple of years, look for him to be up there as well. Kind of a little.
What about Vera fighting Jan? Because they failed to book that in May.
I would like that.
Yeah.
That makes more sense too, because then Jan just lost to O'Malley.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Marlon goes and as the 5 rank goes against, I don't know what the rankings are now, obviously, but
right. Yeah, that's the thing.
That's his path to the title.
Right.
And then Sean fights Aljo. Sean loses to Aljo. Cheeto can fight the winner of that, or Cejudo in the mix then.
Right. So, I mean, we kind of left off talking more about, Peter, or Jan, I should say, versus Marlon Vera. Kind of talking, we didn't really touch on options for Jan now.
Just bantamweight problems, the division. Yeah. It's becoming lightweight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like
so many people.
As we're unpacking this on this podcast, or on this, episode, it's becoming apparent that the UFC kind of put themselves in a little bit of a hard place as far as what do you do with Sean? Because the only way, first of all, where are you going to rank him? If you rank him 1, the only way to have him not take a step back is fight for the belt, or maybe fight Cejudo. That's like
through talking this out. I feel like logically, and I also take everything I say with a grain of salt because, no genius boy or nothing. But I mean, Cejudo probably makes the most sense.
Yeah.
If he doesn't deserve the Aljo fight, because even he said in the post fight interview, I don't know, I got to watch it again. And Cejudo's no joke.
And the thing is,
And you
I'm
can sell
not a
it,
fan
and
of
the UFC
Cejudo
wants to
fighting for
sell
the
it.
belt right away anyway.
Yeah, which I'm
So-
sure a lot of other people aren't. Which
I'm
I don't
not
care.
either, but I think the UFC is.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't care because I feel like it would be still cool. It'd just become cool to watch. But I think
Yeah.
Aljo wins that handily if Cejudo jumps
Yeah.
right into that.
See, the other reason is why I'm kind of hesitant on Sean O'Malley right now. Fighting Aljo is I think he might. I don't know, dude.
His
Aljo's
confidence isn't through the roof right now.
Yeah. He just got kind of. I don't know. He just went through the hardest fight of his fucking life for sure. You know what I mean? No one's ever brought him to a place like that. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, they're all going to be hard now. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like when you get top 5 territory, there's no easy fights.
Yeah, I
for sure.
mean, just going back to, again, after these big pay-per-views like this, it just shuffles the whole fucking board now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially when you make a fight like this and the underdog wins, like Sean O'Malley did. Now we got to figure it out. You know, now that's what a lot of people who don't, who maybe just casually watch UFC don't even think about is this is a whole other side of the game. Is now what do we do?
What if it came out like Dana fixed the fight for Sean because Steve bet so much money on Sean? It's like, oh no, Dana actually did rig it because Steve
Yeah.
put $800,000 on him.
Dude, everyone would love that though.
That's
the thing. Everyone would love to see that.
I'm not
Everyone
gonna lie,
wants
like
to see
I
that.
would love to wake up and see that on fucking Twitter. That'd be fucking insane.
Yeah, I'd be really upset.
Oh, I'd be upset too, but it would be like
really
the biggest
upset.
headline
Yeah.
content
Yeah.
in the world.
Oh yeah, that would be that would be like
How the
Houston
Nelk
Astros
boys
cheating,
ruined it.
Like, yeah.
How they ruined it. God, how online gambling didn't just ruin New York, it ruined everything.
Ruined everything. It ruins everything. Oh god.
Steak.
All right, well, let's move on to the main event.
We just
Yes.
lost our chance at a steak partnership. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Too many shots at gambling.
Sorry, steak.
That's all right.
I think that's my second shot at gambling on this podcast.
Oh yeah.
I definitely took one other shot about the blackjack. With,
Oh
with,
yeah.
what's his face?
Yeah.
Saying slippery
Alright.
slope.
Slippery slope for sure. Well, we don't need the steak sponsor.
But the main event.
The main event. So, dude, like I said, I'll own it. I was telling people to bet Oliveira. I said, this is
So was I.
the bet of the lifetime.
Yeah.
He's the underdog against Makhachev.
But he grew up in the favelas.
That's what I'm saying. Not saying I was discrediting Makhachev before the fight because I knew he was good. Knew he was Khabib's prodigy. You know what I mean? The next coming of Khabib.
We just didn't know how good. That was the problem. And now that we know how good, I don't think I'm ever betting against that guy
Yeah.
in the next 6 fights at least. Anyway,
I mean,
Yeah.
right. We were talking to our buddy Aaron. He was saying, who watched a lot of UFC. He was saying, I could see this going the same way, being the same story for a long time now.
Yeah.
You know, Islam being on top. I don't know, dude. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think?
The best part of the UFC. Look at Kamaru Usman, Leon Edwards.
Right,
you
bro.
never know. But yeah, it's looking like Makhachev's going to sit at the top for a
yeah, you
while.
don't ever know. But I thought Makhachev looked amazing
Yeah.
on the feet. He was amazing.
Yeah.
It was funny when Oliveira got knocked down in the second round. We're like, okay, this is it. Now Oliveira's going to come back and
I know.
he just needs to get knocked down.
Yeah.
And then it's like, come back.
And then, yeah, right.
Because how many highlights is there of him literally getting like slumped onto his back and then coming back?
Right.
And, like,
Oh, yeah.
knocking
I mean,
somebody the
Chandler
fuck out
knocked
or
him down.
choking him out.
Gaethje knocked him down. You
He's
know, it's
notoriously the boogeyman,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah.
Those two people are the reason why I had no faith in Islam beating Charles. I was like,
Yeah.
well, if those two couldn't get it done, how is Islam?
Like,
gonna
yeah,
get it
yeah.
done?
Exactly, dude. And I didn't even really know Islam's stand-up game.
2022 has been the year of like the champions falling.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Kamaru
sure.
Usman, Charles Oliveira. Those are two names that I'm pretty sure you can go back and even on this podcast find clips of each one of us saying, I don't see these guys losing. Like these are guys that we thought were them.
Oh, you could find 3 clips of each of us saying for both of them.
That's
these
what I'm
guys
saying.
aren't
Like,
losing, you know what I mean?
and like how like at one point Usman's pound for pound, like he's the guy. Like
Right.
I didn't think he was gonna lose to anybody.
No, never.
I thought in a street fight he had a chance against Ngannou because of speed and using like his advantage around like his surroundings and everything. Like,
But I mean,
Oh, man. I
there's
thought the same
there's
thing.
so many great fighters in that division, but when you really look at, pull up that division for a minute.
Yeah, I got you.
When you really look at it, there's no one's going to beat him. There's great fighters in that division, but who's going to beat him?
Right.
Right after that performance? I mean, seriously?
Give Dariush a shot, man. See what happens.
Yeah. I mean, give him a shot, but you're talking Poirier, Gaethje, Chandler, Dariush.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't see any of those guys beating him, to be honest.
I mean,
Not at this point.
well, the thing
I think
is,
Dariush,
that's
though,
good
would
for
be
the division.
really interesting. Because
It would be
he is,
It would be interesting.
he's the real deal.
The thing that I think, this is ultimately probably good for the division, that Makhachev, because now we can see Chandler get another shot at the belt eventually. I know he's gotten like his fair share at.
Got to beat Poirier.
I was just reading that, and that's one of the. I feel like, unfortunately, I have like almost little faith in Michael Chandler beating Makhachev ever.
Well, I was saying, yeah,
Right, after that
but we
fight?
get to see Gaethje get another chance. Like these guys aren't getting another chance at Oliveira.
Like
I'm
Michael
just saying.
Chandler knocking out T. Ferg was like nothing. Like I thought of that as like, oh, cool, you landed a kick. You don't train against an old guy who's pretty much done. And like you remember like the video of him, and it's like the knee thing that Tony Ferguson used to do before every fight, and then how he struggled to do it on the left side. It's like you weren't fighting Tony Ferguson. You were fighting B. Ferg.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, you're gonna see now these other guys get another chance at the belt. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I mean, I think they're all hyped about.
Connor's still 12, baby.
I think they're all. Yeah, he's like.
Tony Ferguson's 15. Tony Ferguson's 15. Yeah.
Oh
man, fucking
Connor's
Connor
John Jones.
Move
Who's
up
more
to
annoying?
the Glover Teixeira division the way he's looking right now.
Yeah.
You know who I want to see is this.
He just tweeted a photo of himself and said, "I walk through doors sideways." Connor,
He does,
that's
dude.
awesome.
He's a fucking unit. He's legitimately a school bus right now. He fucking.
I haven't fit in me Lamborghini in about 6 months.
It's true. He might not even be in this division anymore. Another guy I'm looking at is Jalen Turner, someone who maybe in the next couple of years is kind of
He's really good.
He's really
yeah,
good.
he's very good.
Um,
But I don't know. I think they're really, especially since Makhachev called out Volkanovski and brought him in the ring and the whole deal. And
that seems like they. Yeah,
it
right.
seems like that's what's going to happen.
Like that's probably what they're gonna make, right?
I thought DC kind of was funny during that when he was like, whoa, man. Yeah. Like, back up. You're not getting too close. And it's like, well,
they're
I'm
like
not,
shaking.
Yeah, I hate to be that guy, but like Volk's not that guy and Makhachev's not that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, you're 100%
And
right.
another note, did anyone catch Khabib playing Big Brother and making his camp for Islam and just Khamzat sit down and have a meeting about like we're
the
good,
fight?
like it's
Yeah,
all
yeah,
done,
yeah.
like
Oh my
no
God.
more. This is
funny.
it.
That's
And then
crazy,
Khabib
yeah.
was basically saying like, our brother Islam just got his title, and our
Yeah.
brother Khamzat is about to get his title. So
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
celebrate Islam, and then
Yeah.
we're gonna celebrate Khamzat. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, it's over now.
Yeah, I was gonna say
It's over.
It
Like,
might- they
and
might
let's
be
not
taking
forget,
over.
Khamzat actually. There's like you can go and like I'll try to find it before we post this, but you can go find all the reports. Khamzat flew to Ireland, and his actual reasoning that he gave police was to look for Conor McGregor because of what he said about Khabib.
Yeah.
He is no joke. Like he got turned away in
nuts.
Ireland. They said no, go
he's-
back.
He is crazy.
He's an insane person.
legitimately crazy.
Yes,
yeah.
like what about that picture about him with his kid, an AK,
An AK
and a
and
G wagon
G-Wagon.
that says Boers? Like,
Right.
oh my god, dude, don't mess with that guy.
He's sweet. Oh man, that's. I was gonna say going back. Again, just a general statement that's the best thing about the UFC is the cast of characters that they have. You know what I mean?
And then his best friend is Darren Till.
Yeah, right. That's
That's the thing. Those guys are all kind of crazy. Look at Khabib when he fought Conor.
Oh, yeah,
they were
he
fucking crazy.
goes after
They're
Dylan
going,
Dennis.
They're going into the crowd,
right.
fighting the crowd.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
I mean, that was the most insane
Uzbekistan.
Yeah,
That
because
was
this shit's not fucking.
sanity.
To Conor, this shit is money and games, and this talk is getting them more money. To Khabib, this is you're disrespecting not only me, but my father,
Yeah,
my whole family,
exactly.
my religion,
my country.
and now I'm gonna kill you.
Right.
Yeah.
right, and
Right.
feed you to my fucking wolves.
Yeah, one more funny thing though, like we were watching Ariel's podcast today, and
Yeah,
he was so funny when he's talking about Dariush and his post fight, speech or whatever, and how he's like talking about Jesus and the country of Islam.
Yeah.
And like, and then he's like, I'll fight 10 more times before I get like, no, you just say you want to fight for the title now.
Yeah,
what
he's
are
like,
you
"I'll
doing?
10 more times, I'll fight anybody before I get the belt. It's like, no.
10 more
Say, I'm-
times.
I'm that motherfucking guy.
Yeah,
I'm getting the
exactly.
belt.
It's
Like,
just so funny how different people take
Like,
different approaches.
Just
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah.
Say what you want to fight for the title. You don't want 10 more fights.
The best example of that is you got him And then you have that 17-year-old who just came out of the Dana White Contender Series, and he's going, put me against any of the top 10 guys.
Yeah, and I'll beat all of them.
I'll beat them all.
I'll beat Oliveira
Same
right
with
now.
Bo
Yeah.
Nickel saying the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
It's
And,
like,
and honestly, I hate to say it, but I give way more credit to Bo Nickel than the 17-year-old just because Bo Nickel being like a 4-time college All-American,
Yeah,
3-time national
exactly.
champion, it's like that
Yeah,
kid never even gone to college yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Bo
Bo
was
Nickel has
NCAA
like
world
some backing. There's
Yeah.
some ammo in the clip.
yeah,
with
it's
him.
disappointing
Like,
that
legit.
he's got hurt or whatever because he
Yeah.
was supposed to fight
Yeah.
in December, but
Yeah,
we'll
I
see
mean,
him eventually. Yeah.
who knows how? Hopefully, it's not serious or whatever. And like I said, hopefully, we'll just see him early Q1 of 2023.
That's gonna be,
What division is Bo Nickel?
Shoot, he's like
170.
No, I thought he's one.
Because
170.
he's in Kamzat's division.
he's in Kamzat because he already called out Kamzat.
Yes,
I forgot about that.
yeah.
Right, because you were like,
I-
call him out. and you did it. Yeah,
right
yeah,
before
yeah.
I was like, call out
Yeah.
Kamzat. I gave my
Yeah.
whole analogy on why it makes sense and why
Right.
Kamzat should have to fight Bo Nickel because of missing weight and like fight the new guy then.
Yeah,
You gotta
right.
do this.
Yeah.
So it's
Exactly,
like that'll
yeah.
still sell and you can
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
get, like I don't know. And then
Definitely.
he said it in the octagon, but he didn't even say Kamzat. He was like, "Who's that Swedish guy who
I was
can't
gonna
make weight?"
Yeah, the Swedish guy who can't.
And I was like, "That's who I'm saying."
That's the guy. Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, it's so funny.
I think we'll see that eventually for sure, but
Yeah.
I think obviously, I think it's going to be an O'Malley situation. I think Bo Nickel's going to have 2 fights, and then they're going to put him. They're going to throw him right in there. I think.
Yeah, I mean, especially a guy who has.
Why not?
If he fights 2 no-name guys and he smashes them, they're going
Kind
to
of seems to be a theme going on here with the UFC and kind of fast tracking guys to the top now in the past
Definitely.
year or so. I would
Definitely.
say compared to like the Khabib route, which we've talked about this before, and I'm sure on the pod, which just like how even earlier you mentioned Khabib goes and fights maybe 20 fights that are bullshit and 9 fights that are bullshit wasn't your word, but
Yeah.
20 fights
Yeah.
that aren't necessarily on the same level as the 9 others,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's like giving these guys like Islam the fast track is kind of setting that up so that you can't say that anymore. And I almost wonder
Right.
if Khabib pushed so hard for the fast track so that Islam doesn't have to deal with that backlash in his career. It's like, okay, now Islam got those fights out of the way. Now let's have him go hold the belt for John Jones numbers.
Right, exactly.
And when Islam's ready to step away, he steps away, which that could be what we see, which is like what we said. But
I don't think anybody's beating him, to be honest. But who knows?
It's the
I mean,
beauty of
if
the
he fights
game.
Volkanovski, that's a really interesting matchup.
Yeah.
Super interesting.
prime Khabib or Islam right now, who's winning?
I don't know, man. I was just going to ask. I was just going to say, if Khabib's still in it, do you think he's still, like,
Kind of the same.
you think he's the
guy,
champ?
Looks like.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're the same fighter.
I
It's
say
the same pedigree.
Islam as the unpopular opinion just because eventually the apprentice has to pass the teacher, right?
I guess you're
like-
right. Yeah.
I don't know.
No, you are right.
If anyone from Angelo's
Correct in
tuned
saying
in, I got faster than some of the guys who taught me how to do it, right?
There
Sorry.
you go.
yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, it's
There you
tough
go.
to say, but I don't know. He's just the second coming of Khabib. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
what I feel like, and I think that. I mean, anybody to dominate Oliveira like that.
That's the other thing. It was Oliveira. It wasn't just anybody.
Right.
Well, and the other part of it was he didn't care about going to the ground with Oliveira like everybody else worries about.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to. He was like, "Let's go to the ground, and I'm gonna dominate you," and he did.
Yeah. For sure.
That was the fear when Chandler was fighting and Gaethje was fighting him. It's like they didn't want to go to the ground.
Yeah.
It was-
With all the success from like these like Russian or Uzbekistan or whatever Kazakhstan. I don't know what's the country for Khabib. Is it Uzbekistan? Is that how you say it? Which one is it?
Wait, I'm sorry. Where? From Khabib?
Yeah,
Dagestan.
Dagestan, not
yeah,
Uzbekistan.
I was looking at something
Dagestan.
else.
Uzbekistan might be a place, but I also might be quoting the place from the Fairly Odd Parents with the yaks. Oh no, that's Yakistan.
Yakistan. Uzbekistan, I think, is a place.
Okay,
I'm
well,
pretty sure that's a
regardless,
place.
the
Shout
Russian
out
country,
Uzbekistan.
like with their success and their heritage with sambo, I wonder if we're gonna see a fluctuation in like non-Russian fighters who are starting to pick up sambo as their main
Yeah.
trait
Right,
or like
exactly.
technique.
Their specialty.
Yeah.
or,
Yeah, because it's
just-
proving that like
yeah.
I mean I know obviously Khabib was like a sambo like specialist and won
Yeah.
world championships, but I know Islam. It wasn't his main thing, but I think it was one of his
Yeah.
top things. He
Right.
competed in it for a long time, trained his whole life.
Right,
Yeah.
definitely.
And I know it's a lot of it's based on control like jiu-jitsu, but I know jiu-jitsu's like the whole like have a larger opponent and use their weight against them. It's like this is
Yeah.
like literally controlling somebody with
Well, and that's how Khabib fought. I mean,
Yeah.
he just held somebody against the fence and
Smothered him.
him.
Smashed him,
It
yeah.
just was like, like when he fought Gaethje, it was just Gaethje had no chance. It
that's a
was just
top
like,
3 fight for me of all time.
Yeah, as soon
Yeah.
as he got down on the ground, he just held him on the ground, and
Yeah.
Couldn't get away.
Khabib said afterwards that he was like, I could have broken his arm, but I knew his family, his
Yeah,
parents.
exactly.
It's like, that's like, oh, you bad motherfucker.
You are a bad motherfucker. Yeah, exactly.
I'd rather you break my arm than say that shit.
All right, dude.
I could have done it, but I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. I held off.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
fuck,
rumor is too that Dana alluded to is going to be Colby and Hamzat next. You know,
Okay. All right.
Which I'd like that.
so who knows?
That's another good one to sell because you just ask Colby to talk and then just like Khamzat, just show him what Colby said. And then
Yeah.
Khamzat's gonna be like, I fucking hate this guy.
Yeah.
Like Colby's gonna be like,
I
I'm fucking Colby Covington
Yeah.
and this, that, and the next. Fuck you. Khamzat's gonna be like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah. He's
Like,
I'm gonna fucking kill
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
a very polarizing person and then a guy who doesn't seem to want any of that bullshit.
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah,
gonna go
I
bust
mean,
him up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not
Not discrediting Colby's talent though.
Yeah.
that could be a really, really good fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that
Right.
that could be another Gilbert Burns Hamzat. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
but I don't know. You just don't know. There was a lot of talk that's that was saying that Colby just didn't want to fight Khamzat, and who would really want to fight him? Really,
Good
but-
thing Gilbert broke that ice though. At least
Right.
showed it's possible that you can not win.
Well,
but
yeah.
get
I mean, that was a
close.
great.
But
Yeah,
you
Listen,
gotta
I
have
thought
this
you
guy.
watch that. Go back and watch that fight again. There's a 100% chance that you would say Gilbert Burns
yeah.
won that fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, 100%.
That was
Especially
another
just
one that
looking
could've
at
went either
Khamzat
way.
after the fight, he was busted
Right.
the fuck up.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
and that could have went either way for sure.
Definitely.
But
Definitely.
I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities, and that I don't know. Chimaev, he's just an animal. He just doesn't. I don't know.
It's kind of cool though. It's like what you get when you mix Conor and Khabib. You get Khamzat.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
great great analogy. Great analogy. Yeah.
Thanks, man. I've been working on him. Been working on him.
No, that is I don't know. I've probably never heard it said better than that. That's who he is. Because he's got that little fire, little fucking
If he starts getting arrested, we can throw John Jones. in there.
Yeah,
It'd be
exactly.
sweet.
Yeah,
It's like
he's
Khamzat
just
got
insane.
arrested for. I
Yeah.
don't know. I love when a good athlete gets arrested though. Like it's awesome. Like
Or-
Mario
'cause it's like-
Balotelli with 80 grand in his passenger seat, and they're
Yeah.
like, "Why do you have 80,000 in the passenger seat?" He goes, "Because I'm rich." Like, what do you mean? Like the camera, he's literally like,
Yeah.
"Wait, what do you mean? I have so much money. Why
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
I
yeah.
put 80,000 in the passenger seat?"
Yeah, no, it's always like, especially if like nothing actually like horrible happens.
Yeah, like I don't like the Henry Ruggs ones or anything. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, but I was gonna say it's always crazy when you see like, oh my god, he did that. Like, oh my
Yeah.
god, like what the fuck, like.
Or like, yeah, I mean, not to hang up on Mario Balotelli, but he also went to a woman's prison and got arrested and detained because he wasn't supposed to be there. And like his actual explanation was like, I was just curious. I just wanted to see what it looked like. Like he was like, I thought it was like Orange is the New Black, and they were like, no, you idiot,
No,
like it's
yeah.
actually jail.
It's actual prison.
Yeah, like he just showed up and was like trying to walk around.
Oh, it's so funny.
Obviously in Italy too. So
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
little
yeah.
different,
a little
but
different, but still, dude, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
crazy shit.
All right. Well,
Yeah, I don't know.
wrap this up because
Yeah.
we're on.
It's a good podcast
That's a
though
good
for a
pod.
good card.
Man, I was gonna say, hey, I was kind of thinking before this podcast. There's no
This
way
one
we
made
don't
me
get out of
think
this
a
one
lot.
with a short video.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? This like
There's
we
a lot
unpacked a lot in this
Lots to
episode.
talk about.
And
yeah.
right, there was
This is the
definitely
hardest I've thought of UFC.
right. There was definitely more there than I even realized. Like coming into this podcast, we
Yeah.
kind of unpacked it a lot and really,
Yeah.
talked about
Yeah.
a couple of good different matchups.
I just
and,
want. I
all
just
the
wish we were 6
opportunities.
months ahead of time right now, so I knew what was going on with Sean O'Malley's career, and I didn't have to think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's half the fun though,
Oh, yeah.
speculating. And then
Yep.
Saturday we got Calvin Cater fighting again.
Oh shit, he's fighting Arnold Allen
Arnold
too. That's
The
Allen.
other
gonna be
thing
a
too
great
is
fight.
we have like
fight.
what, like 4 different outcomes for the Sean O'Malley thing,
Yeah.
and we're gonna see like different people and like influencers and content creators say each one of the ones that we just went through.
Yeah.
But what we don't know too is there's that 5th one that we didn't mention.
Right,
That's gonna
that we
come.
didn't
We're gonna be
even
like,
think
oh,
about.
we
We're
didn't
like,
think
oh,
of
no
that.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
for sure.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
awesome.
or the one that the UFC pulls out, and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe that.
Yeah, I
that's
can't believe
happening.
they're actually doing that one. Yeah. So yeah,
So you
Oh, it's
never
great.
know. But,
Yeah.
yeah,
great, awesome
stuff.
fucking event. Super happy that Sean O'Malley won.
Yeah. So there's our 2 cents.
Cool. Really appreciate you guys tuning in.
That's
We'll
it.
see you on the next time.
All right. Later.
Here we go.
check out 5 City MMA and Throwing Hammers on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok.
Yes, at 5 City MMA.
What
Throwing
he
hammers.
said.
Say it as
Let's
fast as you can 3 times fast.
Woo.